Well, in typical fashion, it's been about a week since I worked on the Lightning. As we finished up the last video, we started installing the Beltec lowering kit on my 2002 SVT Lightning. But I got in here and realized I wasn't super happy with the condition of some of the ball joints and maybe some brakes and this, that, and the other. So you know what I did. I went on Rock Auto and ordered a whole bunch of stuff. And that stuff just showed up a couple days ago. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to work. Let's get that stuff out in front here, get it unboxed, start working on the truck. Well, that made a mess. But here are all the new parts that just arrived for the Lightning project here. You guys can probably already tell what most of this stuff is. We'll start right up at the top. Unrelated to the project we're working on, I ordered a set of the, I think these are the 2000 or 99. I can't remember. One has the reverse light up top. The other one has the reverse light in the center. But let me know how you guys feel. Even though these are the original style head or tail lights for the truck, they're like those cheap, chintzy looking Altezza style that was popular in the aftermarket in like the early 2000s, which is exactly when this truck came out. I think Ford was trying to make it appeal obviously to a younger crowd. Even though they are factory, don't like them. I've always preferred a more simple, clean look, so I picked up a set of these from Rock Auto for I think like 23 bucks each or something like that. So there's one of them. The truck didn't really need discs per se, but I decided after looking at these that there's no way I was going to put these back on looking like that. So ordered up a set of discs. Had to go slotted and, drilled because sport truck, want those to be peering out behind the 20-inch wheels we got over there in the corner. So slotted front and rear. Got new pads for the front. The ones in the rear were brand new. The caliper and pads are brand new. The guy that I bought the truck from did them basically the week before I got it, so didn't need any rear pads. Here's the upper control arms that we talked about in the last video, which has the integrated ball joint. Got one for each side, and then the lower ball joint. Went with, what was it, SKP, or no, Ultra Power. And the only reason I went with these is because the part number was exactly the same as the Moog part number. And the Moog one was 5 times the price, so if I had to guess, they're probably made by the same facility and just packaged and priced differently. But either way, good deal on Rock Auto. I think all of this stuff, I ordered the brakes not on Rock Auto. I ordered these from, I think, carparts.com. I think the brakes were 200, or the rotors were 200, and all the other stuff from Rock Auto was like 175. So not cheap, but again, while you're in there, gonna have basically brand new front end here. It's gonna look good, it's gonna perform well, and yeah, we should be overall more happy with the end product. Speaking of look better and overall end product, we've got some work to do up here. Actually, I already gave you guys a sneak peek of the new shocks that I got for this truck from my good friends at QA1. They're over here next to the Camaro, which is also fully QA1 equipped, but we'll talk about those a little bit more later. Over here, I've got some work to do. I'd like to paint this whole area. I'm eventually going to spray the rest of the frame in the back, which I think we'll get to in this video as well. But all of this needs paint, which means all of it needs prepped, which means we need to probably get the shocks out, which we're going to be replacing. I might pull this A-arm out. Probably going to degrease and pressure wash this whole area. We're already making a mess, which is unfortunate because right before I started this Lightning project, like 2 weeks ago, whenever I start a new project, I like to get a clean, fresh slate as far as the garage is concerned. I spent half the day moving everything out of the garage, all my, workbenches and everything, spraying down the garage, foaming it, scrubbing it, squeegeeing it, making it surgically clean in here, and we're gonna mess that up. But we've got some prep work to do as far as the paint. Paint I've decided to use is from Tractor Supply, and it is tractor paint. You know, should be tough enough for the job, and more importantly, I should be able to spray it using my cheap Harbor Freight spray gun. I got the hardener and the reducer so I can spray. This is like $67 or $70 or something like that. But again, 1 pint should be more than enough to do the entire frame on this truck, and it should look basically factory OEM new. I have 2 Harbor Freight guns. This is my cheap one. I've actually never used it. I think it was like 12 bucks. I bought it to do like primer and stuff, but most of the time I just do primer in a can. This is my slightly less cheap one. This is what I do all of my paint work with, but I think this is a good opportunity to load this thing up with some tractor paint from Tractor Supply and get this frame and basically everything in here painted in. And probably while I'm in here, do my signature rattle can job on these faded and kind of dingy looking wheel well liners. And we're gonna have to do something about these calipers. We can't put this thing back together looking like this. So I put up a poll on Instagram yesterday. What color should I do these calipers? I was kind of torn between red and silver. And red was the clear winner in the poll. And you really can't go wrong with red. It does look great on just about anything. I've got silver here too, just kind of digging through my paint supplies there. I'm leaning towards red, but keeping this out for now. Gonna have to make a game time decision here, but got both those options. I'm gonna have to run out and get some more clear, get some more primer, and probably get some paint for those wheel well liners as well. But yeah, first step here, gonna probably drop the shocks, drop the A-arm, pressure wash and clean this whole area, let it dry as best we can, and then get to painting. So yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get back to work. Let's get this front end cleaned up, get it painted, get it ready for some of these new parts, get this thing back together so we can start working on the rear. Good morning. May not seem like it, but yesterday was a pretty productive afternoon. Got kind of a late start. Where did I leave off? So basically got the old shocks out, which are right there in the corner. Got the entire frame prepped and cleaned, degreased, ready for paint. Did a bunch of prep work on the calipers, got these primed, painted, obviously, went with red. I think it's gonna look great, especially with our red taillights here in a little bit. Primed, base coat, 2 coats of automotive clear in a can. These things came out really nice. Also separated the caliper brackets, did these in a gloss black. Again, primed, painted, and 2 coats of clear. These things, I mean, they were basically rusted cast iron or steel or whatever these things are. But come on, I mean, leaps and bounds better than just raw, rusted metal. So those are ready to go on. Calipers I sprayed early this morning, so it's been a couple hours. They're drying up. Got the wheel well liners over here. I was about to wash and degrease these so they can dry in the sun. We can get a coat of paint on these. What is that? Is that like mouse poop? They look like little flowers. Is that from this tree? What is that? I don't know. Left these out overnight. Something made a little doo-doo in there, but just gonna quickly degrease those and we can get a coat of paint on those. Then we've got to paint the frame, and then once that's dry, we can get to the goodies right here. So I got some new shocks for this truck, and of course, they're from the awesome folks over at QA1, the same guys that got me all dialed on the 69 Camaro. Rear 4-link, double adjustable shocks, A-arms, double adjustable front shocks, sway bar. This thing is dialed. If you haven't seen that video series, I'll leave it linked up here, but nasty suspension setup for a first-gen Camaro. I'll leave the link in the description. So of course, had to go with the QA1s for the Lightning as well. The stock Bilsteins, although they worked well, I think after 22 years, they're just a little bit tired. So went with QA1's double adjustable front and rear shocks. Got the part numbers here for you guys, TD906 and TD517. So that's gonna be front and rear for your 99 to 04 Lightning or two-wheel drive 97 to 03 regular F-150, I believe. And the guys at QA1, their tech support, second to none, customer service, second to none. So if you have any questions, they help me out with making sure I had my part numbers good to go. But yeah, these are them. Just obviously beautiful billet aluminum bodies, double adjustment knobs down there, nice bushings. I mean, the same quality that you'd expect out of QA1, made right here in the USA, in Lakeville, Minnesota. Never been there, but maybe I'll get there someday. Huge shout out to QA1 for helping me not only with the Camaro, but this Lightning as well. We're gonna get this thing dialed, get it handling on rails, and these shocks are part of that. So once the frame is painted and dry, we can get the shocks on, we can get our new A-arms on, ball joints pressed in, new brakes, everything. But yeah, let's get right back to work, see how far we get in this next musical montage. Here we go. Well, just like that, it is nighttime almost. Today has been productive but slow, if that makes any sense. We are just about complete on the passenger side here. Started off this morning, finished prepping, masking, and got the frame painted in. This tractor paint looks incredible. This whole area, it looks like a brand new truck down here now. Looks perfect. My one complaint is it takes forever to dry. It was like 8 or more hours ago. It's still a little bit tacky. It is pretty humid today. I thought that the heat would actually help, but you can see where I stuck my light to the frame right there earlier. Whoops. But yeah, overall, I mean, everything up here looks brand new. Absolutely love it. I think it was well worth the effort. Brand new upper control arm is on. Those bolts are in and torqued. Lower ball joint is in and torqued. Got our Beltec spindle in there. The tie rod end has been flipped and back in and torqued. My repainted and cleaned up dust shield is back on there. Brand new front rotors. I repacked and cleaned the wheel bearings, torqued the axle nut to spec. Struggled with the brakes for a while before I kind of figured out how they went together. Thought that I had it all figured out and ran into a problem over here. I don't know if you guys have done the Beltec spindles before, but you see that area right there, the spindle comes into contact with the caliper. Could not get this right here, this caliper bolt started. So what I did was loosen everything up, loosen both caliper bracket bolts, and then I was able to get both of these started. But man, is it close. I'll show you over here. I was screaming and swearing and trying to figure out. I got this one flipped over just so you can see how close the caliper is to those ears on the spindle. And here's where you can see just barely doesn't line up. See that half moon down there? Same thing, it was hitting right there and does not allow this to push over anymore to get that to line up. But I'm almost positive that if I loosen these two up and leave everything loose, get everything started, then it should snug up. The other option, of course, would be to take the grinder and just, you know, kind of clearance that spot, the ear on the spindle there a little bit, but I was trying to avoid that if I could. So when in doubt, a case like this, if it's close, keep everything loose, get all the bolts started, and then snug everything up. I guess, of course, real quick, let's do a before and after. Shoo! Looking good under here, boys. Also got our beautiful QA1 double adjustable shocks hidden down there. Unfortunately, all their beauty is not really going to be seen from the outside, but per QA1's instructions, I think I have them set up for, I don't know, between nice ride and firm ride and improved handling. I think I did like 6 clicks of compression and 6 clicks of rebound or something like that. Quite honestly, if you can't tell by my face, it's hot, I'm sweaty, soaked through this shirt, my pants. I would love to be done for the day, but I have an appointment with Safelite tomorrow morning. Yeah, the camera's fogging up. Yeah, I have an appointment at Safelite tomorrow morning to get this windshield replaced. Or I guess he's supposed to come here. We'll see. It might rain. But there is a crack or a chip right there. And there's another one over there. I'd like to get this truck tinted sooner than later. And I don't want to tint over a cracked windshield. So got that appointment. But long story short, I can't quit because I got to get the truck back on the ground and able to roll around at least, just in case I need to get it outside or put it in a different bay here. So let's finish up this driver's side, rinse and repeat on the passenger side. Hopefully get this thing back on the ground by 9-ish a.m. tomorrow morning and ready for a windshield swap. So let's get back to work. One brand new windshield later, and some beautiful 20-inch 0304 Lightning wheels later, plus a Beltec front lowering spindles, tons of paint, tons of parts, tons of hours of time. The front of this thing is looking perfect. So yeah, guys, I got both sides finished up late last night, and then this morning came out, quickly put the wheels on and dropped this thing down just to get it outside to give the guy from Safelite a little bit more room to pop a new windshield in this thing. Shout out to Sean from Safelite, came by, knocked this thing out, really took his time. You could tell he knew what he was doing, and he did a great job. Even found like one little rust spot or surface rust spot up here that he took time to grind down and prime for me. And he was all excited. This was an SVT Lightning. Did a great job. Now we're ready for some window tint on this thing to match the rest of the fleet there. But you guys probably couldn't hear it in the video, but we have got a bit of an alignment problem, which I think is obviously from flipping the tie rod end out. But the steering wheel is perfectly straight. This tire is out like at least 10 degrees, and even worse, this one's probably out like 10 or 15. Just not happy at all. Undrivable in this condition. This would destroy the tires like immediately, but you know, fine to drive it out just so the Safelite guy could work on it. But I think what I'm gonna do is quickly jack this thing up. Obviously, because we need, you know, we had the adjustment to the tie rod and your control arms are gonna control your camber. I'm gonna get this thing aligned professionally, you know, on the Hunter alignment machine or whatever it is. But we can make it more than drivable just by getting the toe approximately where it needs to be. You guys saw me do it on the Camaro. This thing drives great. So I'm gonna do that just so we can drive it around. And then we need to get to the second half of this thing. We got the front down. It's gonna settle more, I bet. Already looks so much better than it did as far as ride height, but I haven't even driven it yet. I bet you it's gonna settle down a little bit more and then we can get our final measurements. But back here, we need to do drop shackles and spring hangers. And yes, you can do that, you know, just like this. But there's other guys out there that say, hey, doing the hangers is a pain in the butt because the bed's in the way. If you just remove the bed, it's like 6 or 8 bolts, one wiring harness, and you lift this thing right off. And then you've got not only access to the bed, or you know, access to the spring hangers, but you guessed it, now we can paint this frame, which is kind of unsightly. I know it's dark in the garage here, but you know, even though it's completely solid, it does have the same little surface rest on it that you can see through the wheel well. So now I can use more of my $70 worth of Tractor Supply tractor paint and completely paint and refinish under the bed there. So not only will it make doing the spring hangers hopefully a lot easier, but we can kind of refinish it under there while we're at it. So yeah, that's what's next. Let's get this alignment somewhat close via the tie rod ends. Then I need to remove this hard tonneau cover. Again, if anyone wants to buy this thing, 500 bucks. Snug top, great condition. It's got the shocks and everything. All your hardware is included. Good to go. I'm going with a soft roll-up one. But yeah, I think I got to pull that off, and then we can figure out a way to get this bed off. I was going to use my lift, but that would tie up the lift for a little while, and also, I don't know. I don't know where I'd lift it from, like under here. So the other thought I had was to do what a lot of guys do, and that's to use my engine crane right over there, kind of make an X pattern in the bed on the tie-down hooks, and then just lift it up using the engine crane. But we'll figure it out. I'm gonna do that outside, I think. But yeah, that's enough talk. Let's get right back to work. Get the rest of this thing lowered and painted and looking right. Back on the Lightning bright and early this morning, and already made a mess. As discussed last night, made some tie rod end adjustments, got our alignment looking much more presentable. Car did not squeak and hop coming out of the driveway this time, so that's good. Looks better. Unfortunately, you'll notice that the stock wheels are back on, at least on the front. And I'll show you why. I went to pull these wheels off to get our wheel well liners in, which are outside. One of them's in, but they came out fantastic. And discovered something that I'm not too happy about. Yep. Damage to the inside of the barrel where the lugs go. And that's because I guess these lugs that I bought have way too wide of a base there. So these are aftermarket wheels, so they have the conical 60-degree seat. So your stock lugs are mounting on a flat surface on that stock wheel, so that's not going to work. So these aftermarket ones that I bought, I guess I didn't notice when I was putting them in that boss around the edge there is way too wide. So long story short, it ended up bottoming out before the conical seat hit, and not only damaged the wheel, but really not too bad. You won't really be able to see it down there in the wheel. But again, good thing I noticed, good thing I double checked, because obviously that could have been really bad. The wheel would not be secure, could have easily come off, damaged the threads, could have been a lot worse. So these are not going to work. So I've got the correct ones on the way with a much thinner profile that should work just fine, and we should be good. But in the meantime, I wanted to get the truck outside. So you guys saw I had to, per Beltec's instructions, if you're going to run 18-inch wheels with this spindle kit, you need to kind of lop the bottom of the bottom ball joint off. So just zip that off, ground it down. Now our 18-inch wheels fit with just enough clearance down there. Oh yeah. Clearance is clearance though. Anyways, got right to work this morning. As discussed, removing the bed. Now look at all this access we have to this rear hanger. I think you can just chisel or grind these things away. I always wanted one of those gratata tools, aka the impact hammer, or air hammer, air chisel, whatever you want to call it. I think I bought one back when I was like 20 at the original Harbor Freight, when every tool was a piece of junk, Central Pneumatic or whatever it was. Now stuff at Harbor Freight is actually like nice, like my Icon ratchets, love those things. So went out and bought the most expensive, I think it's Bauer. I don't know, we'll have to see, but I bought a really expensive air chisel. I think that should help getting those out. And of course we can clean all this up. Look at this grime. Yeah, it's on there on the back of the cab. Frame is in great shape. Everything back here is in great shape. Just has a bunch of, surface rust and grime and crap on it from 22 years of being on there. Here's our aftermarket fuel fittings. I believe there's 2 pumps in this hat. Oh, it's a 4 hat. Oh, look at that. Cool. I believe that in the paperwork said there was a 3rd pump on the frame rail somewhere. Maybe we can find that later. I haven't even really looked. These fuel lines are kind of nasty though. But yeah, I'd like to get all this cleaned up. I think I might drive the truck over behind the arborvitaes because I'm just gonna spray the whole thing with that tractor paint. Don't really want to do that on my driveway. But yeah, I got the bed off using my engine crane. And of course had to add the patented Sullivan sketch hole. Unknown weight capacity, probably might work. In this case, it did work. Lifted the bed with ease, modified my lifting strategy here a little bit using tie-down straps through my load leveler, which allowed me to kind of get the bed off. My wife came out and assisted me, just kind of making sure we didn't hit anything. Got it sketchily mounted on 2 Harbor Freight sawhorses here, and yeah, tailgate's right there. So yeah, let's keep the progress rolling. Let's get this frame cleaned up, get it painted, and see where we end up. Woo. Always wanted a trampoline. Mom and Dad said they were too dangerous. Good afternoon. You join us from the side of the garage where we are in my state-of-the-art paint booth. As you can see, got the cab of the truck masked off and also the driveway. I said I wanted to paint on the grass, but I came to the realization that I am at the max of my air hose reel, my compressor. It's in the garage. So driveway it is, right next to the house. Fortunately, painting conditions are great. Looks like a storm is coming in. Wind keeps gusting and blowing all this stuff around, blowing the paint and overspray directly towards the rest of my vehicles, so that's good. We're by a stagnant body of water right there, so the bugs should be coming out soon. Rain overnight for drying, basically just perfect. Earlier today, got this thing wire wheeled, cleaned, blown out, let it dry all afternoon. Looks really good, really solid, ready for some paint. I've done my due diligence to mask off some of the areas that I don't really want paint on, such as the nice aluminum drive shaft, that billet aluminum 4 fuel hat. Obviously the wheels keep overspray from going that way. Our braided stainless steel brake line, the plastic charcoal canister. Everything else, I mean, might as well coat it. So with any luck, I'm gonna mix up some tractor paint, get this thing completely sprayed in, and then any areas that I can't get the gun in, I bought a can of the Rust-Oleum matte black enamel, professional series, whatever. We'll just get the rest of it. But without further ado, let's mix up some paint, get the spray in, and keep this progress going. Settle down, Wind. Did not work on the Lightning yesterday because I was actually working on a front porch renovation and some other stuff around the house. But where did we leave off? We painted the frame. I don't know what I did different this time, but the paint came out absolutely spectacular. Dried quickly, came out nice and flat. I mean, looks like the factory paint would have. Also, to note, this texture you're seeing here is actually the factory wax. There's still plenty of that left on the frame, so I didn't do anything with that. Just painted right over it, and this is probably pretty close to how it would have looked back in 2002 when this thing rolled off the assembly line. Came out awesome. Of course, it started raining immediately after I finished, so thankfully the paint was dry. At that point, it wasn't like the front where it took like a full day to dry. Maybe there was less humidity. I did make some spray settings, did add a lot more hardener this time because of what happened the first time, but frame looks incredible. Masked off my nice stainless brake lines, the charcoal canister here, even the spare tire. Left, some of this stuff because we're replacing this, which is what I'm working on right now. Also wanted to note, even though I'm already, elbows deep in a new project. Spent a lot of time cleaning up the garage the other day. If you guys are ever in a big project or multiple big projects like I always am, you know it can get discouraging when your tools are everywhere, you can't find what you need, and when you start looking at a mess, you're gonna get discouraged and it's gonna reduce your motivation to wanna work on the project. So I think it's important that even though you probably don't wanna do it, spend half hour, 1 hour, 45 minutes, depending on the size of your mess, clean up your garage, clean your tools, put your tools back in your toolbox, get everything organized. I know it's kind of a pain, but I guarantee you'll feel better about it. In a perfect world, we all put our tools away at the end of the day, and every morning you walk into the garage with a perfectly clean garage. Of course, that's not always the case, rarely the case actually, but if you can keep it under control, I guarantee you your projects will get a lot smoother or go a lot smoother. I was getting to the point where you can't find anything, can't find a socket because you got 6 different piles of tools all over the garage, and it's just, you waste more time looking for stuff than if you were to just clean up and put it away. So just quick friendly advice for those of you guys doing this kind of stuff in your own garage. Keep a clean workspace. All right, so I actually started over here, jacked up the rear, and started working on the Beltec rear shackle and spring hanger install. Apologize about the wind, but once again, it feels incredible. It's nice and hot today. Which requires you to hammer drill out the rivets on the spring hanger. So I started over here and then realized that my air hose wouldn't reach far enough. So I was like, okay, maybe I can use the pancake compressor. Nope, didn't have the balls for it. So I had to kind of sketchily put everything back together, back the truck over here, and now we're literally hammering away at this. Got our shackle bolts out nice and loose. Everything's loose over here. Took off, the eye bolt here, and I think, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use the nice aftermarket traction bars that came. These are Metco that came with the truck, and that's because these were bolted here on the bottom, like that, on the frame. The Beltec kit doesn't have that 5th and 6th bolt. You can see here. So this is going to have nothing to bolt to with this kit. So that's kind of unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I mean, at this truck, I think the reason he had the traction bars was because he was taking it to the drag strip once in a while back in New Jersey or wherever. For a street truck like this with street tires, which is all, as of right now, I plan to keep on the truck. Not sure how necessary they are. If we do want traction bars in the future, we could get some made that go from here, probably have to go past here, and then maybe weld up right here. So not the end of the world. That also saves me a trip to the parts store or days delay waiting, because these U-bolts wouldn't work because someone else had to use square U-bolts to come in from the bottom to mount the bracket for the traction bar there. But since we're getting rid of that, we can go back to the factory orientation, which is right up like that and through like that. Over here I was working on, got out the spring hanger, which Beltec tells you to grind a slot in the rivet and then hammer it off with an air chisel, which is, as I was telling you guys about, this Chief one that I just bought. This thing rips. And I think the key there is you put the slit in, kind of hammer it in a little bit, and then come this way and just chisel the head of the rivet down and off. So that wasn't too bad. Got this off. This thing popped off, no problem there. Then the instructions tell you to punch the remaining rivet shanks through the hanger using a punch or appropriate tool. Seems like it should be easy enough, right? Directions are blown away. Well, I fought with that for a while, constantly hammering on the air chisel. I had a sledge out here, I had my punches, I tried heating it, I had a big 5-pound sledge and a bunch of punches. These things would not budge when they look like that, and I think it's because that's what rivets do. They mushroom. You see how there's that little channel in the middle? That's what you're trying to push through. So I think what was happening is we were just further mushrooming this area, and it just was not budging. So if you guys are doing this, and this is not in the Beltec instructions, you can see my marks here. I've basically been grinding them down to nothing, as you guys just saw in the last clip. Grind them down till they're flush with the frame, and they literally pop right out. Like one hit with the hammer drill or air chisel or one hit with a punch would take them right out. So that's very important. Don't struggle like I did. Grind it down till it's flush with the frame, pops right out, no big deal. So now we know for the other side. and hopefully we go a little faster. But that's enough talk for right now. Let's get back to work. Got our pile of parts here, spring hangers, shackles are in this box, got our disc brakes ready to roll, and of course our beautiful QA1 rear shocks, all nice and easily accessible because the bed is off. So glad I took the bed off. This would be a nightmare, the bed on, and now the frame looks 100%. We got access to everything. So with that, let's keep going and see how far we get in this next section. God, you, Metco. That's gonna be fun doing my hand. Work smarter, not harder. Man, if that isn't the epitome of like the 80s retro Vice City sunset, I don't know what is. It's got like the lines through it. Love it. Anyways, took a couple hour break from the Lightning, but basically here's what we got done since the last update. Got the spring hangers in, all the nice grade 5, I believe, hardware torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Back here, we've got the shackle in, the drop shackle. Got the old one out. Then basically rinse and repeat on this side. This one fought me a little bit. You guys saw I had to get out the torch and, you know, the impact and big hammers and everything else, and finally got it done. But the shackle's in on this side. Same thing with the spring hanger on this side. Added paint, or primer and paint, anywhere that I ground down the frame to metal, so we were all sealed up. Looks absolutely fantastic. And got right into the other part of this project that Beltec wants you to do, which is their little shim there, which I believe is basically designed to correct your pinion angle. So it's going to shim this, you know, obviously the front of the leaf springs stack up. You can see it's got, you know, it's taller at the front than at the back there, which is going to shim the whole drive shaft and pinion this way, which should correct our pinion angle for the lower ride height there. Brand new leaf springs, new washers, new locking hardware. Lopped those off with the Milwaukee M18. Used a whole battery in this project of cutting, grinding. By the way, that air chisel, wish I purchased that thing years ago. That is, sorry, I got a socket running away here. That has been hugely helpful here. And anytime a bolt or fastener has been stuck, well, it can't be stuck if it's not there. So you simply slice it and then chisel it away, and you're good to go. So yeah, that Chief air hammer from Harbor Freight, do recommend. Love it. So the only reason I'm out here, basically right before sunset, is I would like to get these rear calipers painted tonight. I really like to wrap up this project tomorrow. This has been over a week of lowering this truck for obvious reasons, just because I can't not do the while you're in there. Just the bed is off the truck just to lower it, as an example. So I'd like to get these painted so they can dry overnight. We're gonna match them the same as the front. Red calipers, black brackets, and we can do the new rotors tomorrow. Brand new QA1 Shocks. These calipers are brand new when I bought the truck, so are the pads, so those will be good to go. But hopefully we can get that done, wrap this all up, plop the bed back on, and see what this thing looks like a little bit lower. So yeah, before the sun goes down and I lose light, I'm gonna get some paint and clear coat on these calipers and brackets. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Somehow this thing looks even shorter with no bed on it. The rear tires are like 2 feet behind the cab. It's even goofier when you're driving it. Good morning, guys. It is the next morning. Well, I guess actually it's early afternoon at this point. Kind of got a late start this morning. Last night got the calipers and brackets painted up and clear coated in black and red. Brand new slotted rotors. I keep ordering rotors, and maybe it's because I'm cheap and I order them from the cheapest place that I can, but they're backwards. The slots are supposed to be facing forwards, So one side is correct, the other side is not, but I mean, I'm not gonna be taking this thing on, you know, the track, so I really don't think it's all that big a deal. I did it, to be totally honest, mostly for looks, but yeah, calipers look great. Got everything torqued down. I think these were about 90 foot-pounds. These ones are 100. These ones are 95, I believe, or something like that, and you want to do that on the ground. Yeah, I got the e-brake cables torqued up, good to go. Everything is looking good. Oh yeah, got my QA1 Shocks on, got them adjusted again. I think 6 clicks on rebound, 6 clicks on compression. Did the bounce test. Oh yeah, passes the bounce test. Also, gonna pretend I didn't drive 1,500 miles home from Florida in this. My wife came out yesterday and was like, "Are these the same tires we drove home on?" And I was like, "No, those are different ones for sure." Yeah, I don't know. That being said, let's take this thing for a drive. Look at how funny this looks. Tires right behind you. All right, well, so far so good. We're doing 40. Truck feels great, nice and smooth. Eyeball alignment seems to be doing okay. Steering wheel straight. Truck rides good. We got no taillights, no license plate, no insurance. Just kidding. Fully insured, fully registered. Keep an eye on people behind us, and we're just going down the street just to check it, but yeah, feels good. We don't need brake lights where we're going. Get some airflow in this thing. I mean, we're only doing 45, but pinion angle feels like it's somewhere close. No vibrations at all. Drives really good. QA1 Shocks feel good. No clunking over bumps. There's railroad tracks right there. That's a perfect suspension test. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Ooh, fellow single cab Ford. And it's for sale. Oh yeah, photo op for sure. Look at this thing. Love the patina. Ooh, peanut butter gut. Love that. 1500 OBO. Call or text Brian if you want this thing. Here you go, Brian, some free advertisement for you. Thing's sick. This thing's sicker though. Maybe I'm biased. Look at that stance though. Front looks so much better, nice and low. Love it. Effortless. As if there wasn't already no weight over the bed. Now we don't even have a bed. Alright, let's step on these brakes a little bit, bed these pads in. Oh yeah. All right, test drive, check, went perfect. Truck runs awesome, feels awesome, no clunking, no banging. Nothing of excitement back here, which is just the way we like it. So let's see if we can finally wrap this project up, get this bed back on here, maybe even get the 20s on there, and check the ride height, see how this thing looks. Whew. Another hot one out in the driveway today, but let's push through, get this thing done. Make sure it stays. Oh no, what have I done? One side at a time, maybe? Oh boy. Yeah. All right, over there. Now that is a job well done. Shoo! There is the completed package. Lowered 2 inches in the front, 3 inches of the rear. Finally on all 4 20-inch LMR 0304 Lightning reps. Wrapped in brand new Bridgestone tires. Also, final ride height numbers I've circled here. Measured these with the stock wheel and tire setup to eliminate any other variability in tire height. Come down exactly 2 inches pretty much in the front. 2 inches there. And 1 in, math is hard, 1 5/8 there. And basically totally level all around. So 2 inches in the front and about 2.5 or so in the rear. So the truck looks awesome, and Beltec kit basically did exactly what it's supposed to. The stance is perfect. I love it. Got our calipers painted, those brand new slotted in drilled rotors, front and rear. This thing is looking sharp. This is how Brian Spillner should have pulled up to Mia's for tuna sandwiches, you know? Maybe then Vince wouldn't have tackled him over the hood. I don't know. That looks awesome. What a project that was. This literally took almost all week between, you know, getting the frames painted, and I took the bed off, for crying out loud. Just this while you're in there stuff really kind of bites you in the butt sometimes. This should have been like a couple day project, and it took a long time, but completely new front end components, ball joints, control arms, brakes, painted calipers, prepped and painted frame, did some alignment work, brand new wheels and tires, took the bed off, did the full Beltec lowering kit, drilled out the spring hangers, did the shackles, brakes, painted calipers, brand new QA1 shocks, double adjustable front and rear. This truck handles amazing and looks even better. Plus painted the wheel well liners and probably some other stuff I'm forgetting. So I guess that's kind of the point here, is that this stuff can take a while, but end result, wherever I am right here, well worth it. Here's the scrap pile. Obviously be keeping these and or posting them locally. These are original SVT 0102 Lightning wheels. smoked tires, obviously, but valuable. So I'll be keeping those or maybe posting them locally. Here's the scrap, the actual scrap pile. 4 rotors, our old spring hangers. This traction bar stuff I will keep. I'm sure it's got some value, and or, like I said, might be able to modify it in the future if we decide we need it. But the rest of this stuff, going to the dump today. Also wanted to show you guys, the previous owner, Joe, that I bought this truck from in Florida, sent me this because the original owner had purchased this and given it to him, so he only thought it was fitting that it goes with the truck. So check that out. He said it was really hard to find a black one, and it's got some surfboards on the back, which is kind of cool. But look at that. Maybe one day when I'm done with this truck, we'll take it out of the box. Not like it's in good shape or anything. We'll take it out of the box and get a final before and after. But look at the seats in there, the Lightning badge. It's got those 99 and 2000 wheels on it. Very cool. But it is hot, and I think I'm gonna wrap up this video here and get ready for the next one. Tons of stuff planned. Re-clean the garage for the millionth time. But I will give you guys a sneak peek of the next, I believe the next video on this truck. Uh-oh. Missing half the interior. That's all you're getting. But I'm gonna get right back to work on this thing, I think tomorrow, and gonna be cranking out videos on not only this, but the Cobra, I think the C8, and hopefully even the Mercedes chilling over there. So stay tuned for all that. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, why not? I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Help your boy out. Let's keep this channel rolling. Thanks as always for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.